Guys, I think I finally figured out the difference between Dreamworks and Disney. So if you watched my last video, you know that blood is usually scarce in animated movies. Hell, you might even be asking yourself, there's blood in these movies? Yeah. However, Disney and Dreamworks feature it a little bit differently. Even though they both feature blood, the way they handle their depiction of it is very different. So I went through a bunch of Disney and Dreamworks movies and compared the two. As I watched the films, I wrote down some notes. Anytime blood appeared on the screen, I noticed a pattern with Dreamworks. They tend to actually animate the movement of blood, while Disney tends to keep it tame using scratches. Take for instance the Dreamworks movie, The Road to El Dorado.
Do you know why the gods demand blood?
Well, I don't know.
Because gods don't bleed.
Why do I feel like the animators at Dreamworks have no restrictions and they can show us as much blood as they want? Notice how they didn't do a time skip and show us a static image, that being a slice on the palm. Seriously, compare that to a Disney movie called Encanto. I love this movie, by the way. But even here, we don't see that crazy drip. And I'm not talking about clothing, I'm talking about the blood being animated. Are you starting to see the difference that I noticed? Is Dreamworks a company that just has less safety nets, metaphorically speaking? It seems that the writers and animators have more wiggle room to express their vision onto the big screen. Take for instance another movie from Dreamworks. It comes from the Madagascar franchise. There's blood in this movie.
Alligator! Daddy got you! Hold on!
Did he seriously just blow a piece of his ear off? Guys, what? There's no way modern Disney would ever show that happening, let alone show actual mutilation. Usually in Disney movies, we see the characters die off screen with narration verbally telling the audience what's happening. But in Dreamworks, they aren't afraid to show it. Even when they display brutality, they still masterfully show it in a safe way that's not too gruesome, but communicates what needs to be communicated. The scene flows naturally, even with the cut. Now, on to one of my favorite movies this year, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Death has instilled a sense of fear into Puss. His blade actually makes contact with him. This scene was so well animated. They even created an entire simulation just to get the blood dripping right. Coming from a 3D enthusiast myself, I am shocked at the attention to detail. The whole damn movie is filled with easy things to miss, such as the reflection indicating fear. The animators didn't need to include this, and you know it, but they did. A lot of people don't talk about these intricate details, but I always love pointing these things out for you guys. I also love that the wound doesn't just heal instantly. I'm not joking, if you zoom into Puss throughout the movie, you can see the scar, my guys and gals. Dreamworks was not playing when they released this movie, and I love it. The main character almost got killed. Now, unfortunately, some people may think that Dreamworks has toned down the potential blood being shown in some of their films. Let's take a look at that. In the How to Train Your Dragon movies, you would expect to see a lot of blood, correct? But these films don't have as much blood as you'd assume. I think people need to realize that sometimes the writer or company wants their film to hit a certain demographic and stamp a certain rating. With each new addition of blood or cursing, the ratings of the movie is gonna bump up. That's why Pennywise is rated R for violence, horror, bloody images, language, you name it. This is no one's fault. In fact, this ain't even a problem. I don't think Dreamworks is doing anything wrong. If the head wants the film to hit a certain group, what's the big deal? This company has already proven they can do whatever they want. Have you seen Prince of Egypt? That movie is filled with blood, literally. Also, the Dreamworks movies, while they deal with dragons and crazy beasts, it doesn't necessarily need a bunch of blood to be shown visually for the movie to be good. However, that being said, there still is blood in How to Train Your Dragon. So let's move on. There is an instance where the lovable Shrek gets injured by an arrow.
The princess here was just...
Oh! Hey, what's that? Is that blood?
I seriously have no idea why there's zero blood on that arrow, man. Also, I got a question. What color does Shrek bleed? Green or red? Now what's interesting to me is that the donkey clearly faints from the blood, but we don't actually see any fluid on the arrow. And you know what? I don't care. I'm not gonna throw a fit. Like we just talked about, there must be some kind of rating issue going on here or censorship. That's probably intentional. This movie was obviously iconic. Unfortunately, I never finished this movie as a kid. I had to rewatch it when I got older, but still really good. You know, I really wish I got into DreamWorks more as a kid. For those of you who don't know, I am a Disney boy, meaning Disney was the only thing that was shown to me in the area that I lived in. You know, a commenter left on my other video that they were shocked that the first CGI movie I ever saw was Tangled. They said, that's so weird. Well, geez, dude, I'm sorry, but I had no control what my high school teacher put in front of the class. My teacher literally gave the class two options. We could pick between two movies we'd never seen before. One was Mulan, the other was Tangled. Are you seeing what's going on here? Those are both Disney movies. I don't even think I heard the word DreamWorks till I was 16, 17. Anyways, my class screamed for Tangled. And look, I like that movie. I love the animation. I loved everything about it. But a part of me does wish that people took DreamWorks a little bit more seriously. However, we gotta give Disney props for at least including blood in Tangled, cause holy heck, do I not remember Flynn being stabbed and bleeding to death? My goodness. But aside from all of that, let's go on to another movie from DreamWorks, Kung Fu Panda. Now this one is super hard to see, but in the next clip, I'm gonna slow it down for you, so pay attention. Now bear with me, the motion blur makes it really difficult to see this, but it happens for a split second. Homeboy got a real taste of that attack. You seeing that on screen? What is that red substance? That's blood. Again, these are all really fun movies for kids and adults alike, but I'm telling you, there is blood in these films and sometimes it's hard to catch it. When it comes to the Disney versus DreamWorks debate, what side you choose doesn't really matter. Everyone has their own personal taste. But what I've noticed is that Disney has a lot of rules, and I mean a lot. I feel like writers can't write as much as they'd like to freely, and their stories are more limited. And I'm not even talking about blood anymore, guys. I just mean the direction of Disney stories. It seems that DreamWorks tends to think more outside of the box. They're not really afraid to experiment with new, different, wacky, weird, or just controversial ideas way before its time. Take a look at Megamind. Sure, Megamind wasn't as popular as Frozen when it first came out, but I'm telling you, this movie was spectacular. The story of Megamind was incredibly unique, and I don't think we're gonna see a movie like this for a long time. But this literally proves what I've been trying to tell you guys. Disney movies are great, but sometimes it feels like the movies are stuck in a box and formulaic. DreamWorks, it seems like sometimes the writers genuinely just get out of that box. Even though it could be a disaster, even though the movie could flop, they just take a chance, and I think that's actually beautiful. Think about it. Do you think that creativity is subjected to a frickin' box? No, it's when you tell a story that is uncomfortable. I mean, look at Titan. Titan's whole story, Hal, Megamind. This is an uncomfortable story, yet it worked so well. Anyways, let's transition back to the blood. Disney tends to show characters bleeding after the fact, usually. Believe it or not, back in the day, Disney also used to rival DreamWorks with showing the blood in the moment. Look at Tarzan, even The Lion King, but they kind of toned it down as the years went on. Now, DreamWorks tends to show everything every step of the way while it's happening. They aren't afraid to show kids what will happen to you if that skin gets broken. Yeah, blood is a natural thing, helicopter parents. I need you guys to get this through your skull. Of course, I don't mean this to glorify gore in any way, but we all have to realize that this is a part of life. Anime has a bunch of blood, even Dragon Ball Z. Really quickly, I want you to do two simple things after you finish this video. I want you to click the link in the description, and this will take you to a Dragon Ball Z animation I worked on for over 2 years. It's Goku vs Naruto cartoon rap battles. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts on today's video.